Our first brand new NMD since our last live conference today is Brittany Yallop. So Britt was formerly a junior solicitor. Having spent 6 years in legal education, she believed that success could only come from climbing a corporate ladder. She joined the network marketing profession with no prior experience, building a global team of over 200 women. 6 months ago, she launched her collective business movement, coaching health holistically and business driven by community. After experiencing overwhelming personal grief throughout her journey, she continues to inspire resilience in the face of adversity as she continues to empower women to live the life of their dreams. She's going to be joined on stage by her fiancé, Kieran, and her upline, Jess. Let's give it up for Britt Yallop.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I remember sitting in these exact seats 3 years ago when I first said yes to this opportunity. Truth be told, I had no idea what it was going to look like for me at the time. As Celine mentioned, I had no prior experience in the network marketing profession. I come from a legal background, and I sat here thinking, hopefully this will pay my phone bill each month. That was my expectation. Now, I used to look up at the NMDs and the speakers that were up on this stage, and I used to put them on an incredibly high pedestal, thinking they were some sort of unicorn. I told myself that I would never be capable of this. I would never be sparkly enough. I would never be glamorous enough. And I would never be strong enough to be capable of doing something like this. So today I wanted to take you a little bit on a trip down memory lane to when I first began. This opportunity came across my lap by complete chance. I was incredibly busy and I had no spare time. That's my excuse that I told myself. I was studying full-time, I was working full-time, and my business building looked like 15-minute time slots before work, after work, doing team trainings on the fly. And I seriously think that my boss thought I had a bladder condition with the amount of toilet breaks I was going to reply back to messages. I was trained to believe in 6 years of legal education that success looked like climbing a corporate ladder. It looked like working a 9 to 5, which realistically was more like an 8 to 8 for me. And that's what life was going to look like for the next 40 to 50 years. Maybe I would have a retirement plan in my 50s, 60s, 70s. Who knew? But that's what life was going to look like. So not only did this leave me feeling uninspired, unfulfilled, and completely underappreciated, I knew that there was time and an opportunity here for me to take on something new that I wanted to. So I started to get building. I started to see the value in the short-term hustle for the long-term gain. I understood what the short-term sacrifice looked like in order for me to build the life of my dreams. Slowly, I was able to bring my job down to part-time hours, then down to casual, and then down to not at all. I realized that my success in business didn't have to mean that I couldn't also be a mother or a wife or travel. I could have it all, and it didn't have to be at the expense of something else that I loved. And that's one of the first lessons that this business taught me. So I went to work. I started to build my tribe based on the idea that we could rock the messy bun, we could dance along to Spice Girls on team trainings, we could juggle babies, and we could start cooking dinner and juggle everything that we wanted to in life and build business. So I got to work. I started to build my business to what I thought was one of my biggest leadership goals of SSC. And in the hustle and the grind to get there, I remember crunching numbers with my fiancé, Bryn. And I remember working incredibly hard to the point where I hadn't showered in 2 days. My hair was incredibly oily, but I knew what I had to get done in order to reach this promotion. Now, this promotion marked a crazy time in my life, both professionally and personally. I was able to step into that space of an SSC, but the day later, my entire life completely changed. And my fiancé of 7 years, that I'd been with since I was 18, passed away suddenly in a car accident. And it broke me. I don't know if you've been through grief to the stage where you personally lose someone, but I couldn't put one foot in front of the other. Something so sudden, something so painful, I didn't know how to breathe. I had to make some insane decisions on the spot to move back to Melbourne where my family was, and I would have had 2 days of bereavement leave legally from a company. Now, with this business, I felt the community during this time. I had people dropping off food to my house that I'd never met before. I had people jumping on Zoom calls with me to help me get through my grief, never met before. I was suicidal. I didn't want to be awake. And my whole life consisted of the breaks between the sleeping pills that I was taking to wake up. Life became mechanical. I didn't want to wake up, I didn't want to go to work, and I didn't want to build this business, in all honesty. But what I did have was a qualified business with residual income that had allowed me not to have to worry about work. It allowed me to spend the time grieving for months without me actively building a business that I knew I would have had to do in the corporate world. It wasn't until one day at 3 a.m. in the morning, between my sleeping comas that I was on from my sleeping tablets, that I woke up and I decided I wanted to do something positive again. I needed something in my life that wasn't just full of pain. And so I got my whiteboard out. I started to have a look at where my team were at, what goals we set, and I started to have a vision again, because I remembered that I started to value time. Now, during those months, I was so overcome by my grief that I couldn't see a vision anymore because he wasn't in it. But at 3 a.m. that morning, I started to remember that time was now my most valuable asset, and I didn't want anyone in my team to ever have to waste that again. So I made it my mission to ensure that I helped them reach their goals in whatever they wanted to achieve. And that was the birth of my brand, Her Collective. And that's what we base our work on every single day. So I decided to set a new standard for myself. I decided to go in, and I knew that as a leader, it was my responsibility to go first. How could I expect my team to achieve big goals if I wasn't doing them personally? So I brought on over 50 and 60 personal customers in 30 days, 3 months in a row. And I showed my team what was possible when we got to work and had a big goal. I started to feel empowered again. I started to see my team be able to minimize work. I was able to see them do mum care instead of daycare. And most importantly, live that mission that Bryn and I spoke about valuing time over money. And so now today, I want to share with you that I stand here as an NMD with the other NMDs that I put on a pedestal and looked at as if they were unicorns, and they're now my colleagues and my running buddies. I stand here today as an NMD with a global team of over 200 women around the world. Thank you. I stand here today building a legacy for the life that I wanted to create with Bryn, because I know he would be watching, so proud of me. I stand here today 8 weeks pregnant with a business that I know will carry me through my pregnancy and raising my baby as well. And I stand here so excited to tell the future baby of mine of, yes, the loss and the tragedy, but what mum was made of when adversity really tested me, and the grit and determination that I showed in the face of it. So if you take anything from this speech today, I hope that you remember that you are fiercely capable, you're inspiring, and you are damn fabulous So set your own standards, and I can't wait to see you up here next year as the next unicorns we look up to. Thank you.